Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm happy to have you. So my Peter subscribers, welcome back to the channel. For today's video in particular, we have no idea what we're going to be covering today. But you, in particular, you're going to know exactly what we're covering based on the thumbnail and title of this specific video. But before we quickly do that, I do want to be able to do a quick touch-up on Community Spotlight. I want to say thank you all of you guys who have been actively engaging with the content over the past couple of days. I have been fortunate enough to be able to respond to some of you. I am still going through the comment section, responding to as many as I can. I have also been able to have some time to answer some of your emails. I'm going in the order in which they came. So hang tight there. Let's do the community spotlight. I think it's really important we go over some of the engagement, though you guys have been engaging with the content, so thank you. In order to get on to this community spotlight, AI, what is instilled into YouTube algorithm, will base certain things or certain tiers that you do in terms of engagement, whether you're watching videos long, whether you're liking, whether you're commenting, whether you're subscribing, whatever the form of engagement that they're rating you specifically on, they're going to rate it. So for you guys this week is Social 1961, thank you, and thank you for your donation. I have started your donation, so thank you. I haven't been able to tell you because I just pre-recorded 7 videos, and so all those 7 videos came from one day. But today I'm finally recording again after a week hiatus. Leota Simmons, we have here Doris Sellen, and Mars 333, and Egypt. So thank you all for those of you guys who have been engaging with the content. If you guys can just do me a favor and send some love and light to Doris Selling, who unfortunately lost her husband. Much love and light to you, Doris. Alright, so let's go ahead, let's take a look, let's find out what we're going to be going on in today's video. I have no idea what we're going to be covering. I have tons of ideas, tons of topics, but I'm going to let Spirit decide today. But this specific video is being recorded on Monday, April 23rd, at 12:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unfortunately, a couple of hours ago, we did get information about the passing of Pope Francis. So send him some love and light if you could. This specific book, and the second channeling book, what I did for this year, is called All Knowing, All Seeing, Thy Future, Thy Truth. That is the name of the book. That's what I was told to call it. And as you can see, we have here, I talked many times about the death of many leaders or the fall of many kings. We have here, this was recorded on December 31st, 2024 at channel messages at 12:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so you can see here, it says here, world leaders will be in submission to all that can and will be, which means they don't have a choice, a free will. If it's something that's meant to happen in this timeline, something that's meant to happen within the universe, humanity does not get a say in that. It will happen regardless, whether they want it to or not. It says also here, kings will fall not by one, but by the many. And I spoke earlier that there will be the death coming from the Vatican. Unfortunately, we have just experienced that, and there's that. We'll talk about this at another later date, unless the spirit guy said, no, we have to talk about it in this video. But anyway, let's go ahead, let's begin. Let's find out what we're going to be covering in today's video. I have no idea. So let's go ahead. This video is just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only as well. So I hope you guys enjoy and have some fun. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's take a look. Let's ask the cards. So Spirit Angels, tell me, what do you want me to cover in today's video? So far, we haven't released a video out for today, Monday. Oh, but you guys don't even know what day it is. Today is, Monday, April 21st at 12:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when I am recording this. So I guess I didn't state the date that I was recording, so I do apologize for that. Alright, so Spirit Angels, tell me, what messages do you want us to know about for today's video? What messages do you want us to talk about? What messages? Okay, they're telling me to flip this over. Okay, we good? I'm getting blue. Is this the blue color? This one? Yep. Okay. Let's see. I can't actually know what color it is. I can't see the words. But I'm just picking based on the color of my what I'm getting, and I just feel drawn to, and that's how I'm picking them. But just lo and behold, the white color means minor arcana, And color mean major arcana. Color mean major arcana, white mean minor arcana. Anything else? Okay. Let's see. What is the first card that comes up? We have here sinking. So something is sinking, something is collapsing in some way. What is being collapsed? We have here look the other way, so not being able to look a specific way. Something being forced upon you to see it for what it really is. And then we have here, on the right side, what this color here means white, when white really means minor arcana, and that is major, these two. But it says here, decrease, which means there's an increase. So this would reverse, but we have an increase in enemies. So what it is saying, what is thinking? Something is thinking, and you have no choice but to look at it from a certain way because it becomes obvious about what is happening. So there's some sort of obvious note here that there is something obvious, and it has to do with the increase of enemy. Let's take a little bit more. Let's find out what this is. We have here the angels in reverse. So these are people who don't have good intentions, or you created enemies and now you're going to suffer the consequences. It could be something as simple as that. Now, what is the breaking thing? What is the thing that's the shining thing that defines this whole entire message? We have here not true. It's reversed. This tells me here that this is indeed true, that this is accurate in some way. What does this mean? That there is some sort of lie that was told and it created enemies. It created enemies, more enemies than originally, and we're being forced to look at it from a very specific perspective. And the angels tell me bad intentions, or somebody is not looking out for your best interest or highest good, because whatever it is, this is going to be true. So in some way, I'm getting the energy and aura. This has to do with the way the countries are being treated, and that we're making enemies more than we are making friends. And because of that, we're going to have some issues as a country. But I'm going to try to take an unbiased standpoint because that's what I always do on the channel. But I want to be able to find out what the spirit talking about, because this might not even be related to the United States. But as of right now, it looks like it is, just based on how I felt. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Let the spirit talk to us instead of us talking to spirit. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, hold on. I think I forgot the rest later. Okay. What do we do, spirit? What cards are we using now? Okay, the time we just used the right away, and that's it. I hope you guys can actually see the color on the table, because it feels very dark. At least that's how it looks on my computer. My computer hasn't been the greatest. So I will add a donation link, and I will be opening up membership temporarily to everything, just to help be able to fund a new computer before the tariffs take place here in the US for computers. So I want to be able to replace that beforehand. So if you do want to donate, I'll put in the link below. Thank you for all you guys who do that. Okay. Ooh, okay. Interesting. So we have a 10 of Wands reversed. This means there's a lack of struggle of making decisions. There's a lack of struggle of making decisions, but these decisions are not always with good intentions. That's what I'm getting. So we have someone who's making decisions, easy decisions, with not good intention. What's the top of the card here? We have lack of strength. Because of that, the lack of strength for those who are doing evil, for those who are paying off others. So here you have those with humanity and humility. So what is it saying here? It's saying here that there is a lack of strength and humanity to do what's right, and do, even if you want to give money to them, help out those who really need them most. That's the right way to do things. But it's saying that's not what's happening. It's saying there's a weak energy here, and here you have the Knight of Pentacles. There's only so much time before anger starts to occur, and victory starts to be lost by those in position of power. So what does this mean? It means the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is telling us here that there will be a sense of bravery that's going to come out of this, but it's not because people want to do what's right, it's because they're being forced to do what's right, if that makes any sense. Here, the first color comes in is we have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is means going backward, the clocks are turning back. Right? You kind of see the devil moving up, and as he moves his way, it's going counterclockwise. So instead of it going clockwise this way, it's going counterclockwise, going backwards. So something is going backwards in terms of leadership, in terms of the way things are being operated. Here's the Ace of Wands. This is the lack of energy, a lack of power, a lack of direction. It almost feels like there's a lack of direction, there's a lack of future or definement of where we want to go from here. Because the next card that comes in is the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man is upright, and the Hanged Man normally indicates a major crisis, something on the verge of something occurring. And the Hanged Man, in this specific aspect, the fact that it's reversed, which means this is not the highest intention, this is not the highest good, this is of the lowest intention with the lowest vibration. So this is doing things, people are doing things here that are darker, that are not good, they're not well intended. And here you have a death of some sort. The death of some sort, the ending, a cycle, a rebirth, a renewal, right? That is what they're saying here. That there's an ending in sight, there's an ending to the cycle, an ending of something constantly occurring. And here you have the next card that comes in, it's the Fool card. Not stepping over the bridge, not stepping over the hill and falling down, right? You're the Fool, but you're being very cautious in this aspect. There's some sort of caution here, giving us a caution. And with this caution, there's not as many options. And here you have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is reversed. So we have the Wheel of Fortune with the inability to have a direction or a future, be able to see things from where you want to go. So like for example, you have all these people in positions of power, whether this is in the United States or globally, you have these people in positions of power who glorify their past, but never glorify what they can create in the future. They keep wanting to go backward, not forward. And this Hanged Man here, reversed, is indicating this is of lower intention, not of higher intention. And because of that, there is an ending here. There is a death that's coming. And here you have the Fool card. The Fool card is being very cautious with your steps. And here is the Seven of Cups reversed, which means lack of options, lack of opportunity. Now, what's really interesting as well that I want to talk about here is this in any way in relation to the prison camps in El Salvador. That would be really interesting because that will really highlight some of the energies that we've been seeing in this card so far. So let's take a look and find out if the enemies that they were talking about. So Spirit Angels tell me, if this had anything to do with El Salvador and the prison camps in El Salvador. I'm hearing now. Here you have the Knight of Cups. There's an opportunity here, and here you have the Four of Swords. So no, I don't see that being in relation to El Salvador, because we have here and you have the Empress card upright, which is giving me France's energy. I'm seeing France in particular. I'm getting the energy of Napoleon right here. There's something here with Napoleon, and you're getting the Temperance, and the Temperance is telling me in this specific aspect, healing. So Napoleon healing. I want to find out what that means, because I don't know what that means. We have here the first card that comes in is we have the Knight of Swords. Now we're asking, is this in relation to Napoleon? We have here the Knight of Swords. Is it coming in with an automatic no? The next card that comes in is we do have the Hermit card, and the Hermit card is darkness right here. Running away from darkness, right? Running away from this darkness. And here you have is the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Cups is reversed. You're not seeing things from a specific perspective, not seeing things from a certain view or lens. You're seeing from a minor view, but you're not gathering the whole story. There's a distortion of the story here. There's not like a full completion. You're getting only a piece and snippets of what's really going on. And that's why Spirit is like, okay, now there's a little bit more to the story than what we're originally thinking. And then that card that comes in is we have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is telling me fighting or an upheaval, a revitalization in here. Should be not revitalization, but something is coming to fruition. But it's not without ease. It has to come with challenges, major challenges in particular. So what is this card indicating? It's indicating to us in particular the Knight of Cups, the Hermit card reverse, the Knight of Cups reverse, the Five of Swords upright, which indicates there's some sort of uprising, some sort of rebellion, some sort of challenge for the country of El Salvador, but in particular, relation to the prison camps. And then we do have the moon card, which means revelation. So there will be a reveal, a revelation about what was happening inside the prison camp, but it's not exactly as all seems. Now, I do want to take a quick look and find out, what's it called? What it means when they said Napoleon and healing. So I want to see if that's a thing. Napoleon healing. Okay, so let's read about the historical significance of Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay, Napoleon Bonaparte's health was a complex issue throughout his life and ultimately contributed to his death. He was treated for various ailments, including skin rashes and digestive issues, and experienced periods of both recovery and decline. While he sought medical attention at times, his health was also impacted by his demanding lifestyle and the conditions of his exile. His early life treatment during his youth, Napoleon was treated for neurodermatitis, which involved bath with mercury ointment and potassium nitrate. So we all know mercury is not a good thing to be, bathing yourself in. He was later cured of the condition with sulfur ointment, according to Napoleon.org. During his exile in St. Helena, he used his personal bathtub for hot water therapy, recommended by his physician. During his final illness, Napoleon experienced various symptoms like swollen legs, abdominal pain, jaundice, and vomiting. He was prescribed various medications, some of which may have been toxic or harmful, contributing to his demise. The autopsy revealed ulcerating stomach cancer as the cause of death, but the theory of arsenic poisoning also gained traction. He also experienced a significant weight loss in the year before his death. So, what does this mean or why is this significant? Let's take a look and read back the reading now. The good thing about tarot cards, and particularly the way I read, is that you can constantly go back and forth and read the same cards and you still kind of get different messages each time because each one had a specific message of its own. It's all based on perspective and energy. So now we're talking about the Napoleon healing, right? And he's talking about the up and down of Napoleon's, what do you call it? His health journey. So what does this mean? It's talking about there's healing and recovery, but also illness and defeat. In the end, we all know that there is some sort of defeat that's coming. But what we can say for sure is that Napoleon's healing energy is indicative and indicating that there are going to be some ups and downs in whatever this is. And this is talking about El Salvador. This is talking about the health and the treatment. Right? Remember, you saw us talking about Napoleon's energy and Napoleon's health and how it said that there was some sort of accidental poisoning, if you will, and arsenic and mercury and all those things, not necessarily good things to want to be helped, but back then in the medical history, they're not really well known for doing the right thing, or even better yet, knowing very much about medical history. They were treating poison to people, expecting it to work. So the Nine of Swords, what is this indicating in this specific aspect? It's indicating that there is going to be some periods of up and down, right? And here you have is followed by the Hermit card, which means a period of darkness. This is the up, this is the down. This is the Hermit card, the darkness. You reach the darkest point. But the good thing about reaching the darkest point, you can only go up from there. And with that, it's telling you here that you need to be able to see things from different perspectives, from different lenses, and different points of view. This is actually interesting because we're reading the same reading in which this specific card mentioned that specific line. Now going into the Five of Wands here, it is telling me that there is going to be some sort of uproar, but it's going to have to do with some sort of health. So there will be fighting in terms of health, in terms of El Salvador. I find it a little interesting, a little bit strange that this is coming in for only El Salvador. I wonder if this is in relation to the people of El Salvador or the people being held inside of the camps. That's something that we won't really get told until later on, years from now. Here we do have as well, we do have the moon card reversed. It is saying here that they will be released because I'm getting here that this looks like a gate, like a gated community, right? And this is the fire. This is electrical wire fence, right? Eventually it goes upside down and the gate opens and they will be released. But if you look closely, and you look closely at the wolves and the dog, you can definitely see automatically that they're quite skinny. They haven't been fed a lot. So you're going to see some sort of human rights violation come out of El Salvador. And so going back to Napoleon's health, what did this indicate? It indicates to what the treatment of how prisoners were treated when in exile. Now, let's go back and talk about exile here. So we have this in my book here as well from what we talked about earlier. We talked about exile, so let's take a look. Okay, so we have here, and this is again recorded on December 31st, 2024. Okay, and it says here in this line, it says, "This war shall come at a time when we least expect it to. Here's your warning of the quote, the exiled." So there's something coming in terms of a war. Maybe there is a release. Maybe like the kind of like the way that people were released from the concentration camps in Germany. So that's something that we're gonna wait and see what this really means. We do have here as well is that the economy shall roar one last time this decade of the century, which we just saw. We have here the global experience a sense of peace for a moment, a breath, if you will, before a coming of age, a future that will define the decade and generation, a war perhaps. This is interesting because it said that there can be a moment of peace, which means that we're going to reach a period of point where the Ukrainian war, the Ukrainian-Russian war, and the Israeli-Palestinian war will come to an end. But that's the end temporarily. That will be the breath, if you will, before coming of age, a future that will define a decade and generation, a war perhaps. The global experience a sense of peace for a moment. Right? It says here, this war shall come at a time when we least expect it to. He shall warn of the called the exiled. Right? Many will survive and live to tell the tale of what has become before us, a life of bliss before the kiss. So that is what we're getting. We're getting that energy here. It's coming in pretty strongly. The question is, who is the exiled? Are the exiled those who are getting shipped off? Or are the exiled those who are doing criminal action against the people and the citizens of the United States or of the world? So that is something that we need to determine. We have not been able to determine just that yet. Now let's take a look at the astrology of all this and the things that Spirit is telling us. And let's go from there. Because I feel like that's going to be really important and very crucial to the meaning of this specific video. Like I said, I don't really know what I was walking into in this video, but it starts to make a little bit more sense as we get towards the end. Now, if you guys want to be able to communicate with each other, I highly recommend you go into the comment section below and start answering each other's comments and stuff like that, and try to bounce off ideas of decoding messages that's being said in a specific video. Eventually there will become a time where, me and many other psychic and telepathy readers won't be available to you. We won't be accessible to you because things are changing, times are changing, and sometimes, we may not be allowed on. We might just be banned. We might be whatever. But what it is here, the purpose of this specific video is to help design you and help you get you ready and be prepared for anything that can become, because there will come a day where you need to be able to do it yourself, right? And I'm no better person but to help you train. I want to be able to help you train. I want to be able to have you self-dependent on yourself, and that's it. Self-reliant, if you will. Alright, so Spirit Angel, tell me about the astrology perspective of the messages that you were telling us in today's video. Tell me a little bit more. And we will do a specific video dedicated to El Salvador and what's going on in the prison camps. But this is kind of like trying to decode the messages of what Spirit is trying to tell us. That's all. Okay, so what is the first card? So the first card that's coming in towards the right, what is coming towards the slower end? I'm actually seeing a crash at end. We have the third house of Gemini, which means communication, transport, and local community. And this is the third house, right? This is the third house of Gemini, communication, transportation, local community. I'm actually hearing a crash. This also could be in relation to 45 and him being a Gemini. So this should be really interesting. What is coming towards the future? That is coming towards an end for Gemini, in particular 45, and what's going on here in the United States. But also, this is also in relation to countries that are Gemini. So I'm also getting that too. So if you have a Gemini in the chart, maybe you should take a quick look and find out what areas are coming to a crash and be prepared for that crash. We do also have here as well, we have the South Node, which lives right underneath the third house, which is representative of past lives, natural gifts, and karmic challenges. So what does this mean? What is coming up, right? What is being coming from the ashes as this comes down crashing, which is communication, transportation, local community. In the third house of Gemini, we have the south node coming upward, which is an indication of past life, natural gift, and karmic challenges. This means we have to take a different perspective, a different standpoint, a different viewpoint, and be able to really hone in on the energy of what is coming. We have to really take things from a different perspective, from a different look, and kind of not see it as damage or collateral damage, but rather see it as a way for new growth. For example, the best way to create a forest, a brand new forest, a healthy forest, is to burn it down. And by burning down the healthy forest, all that debris becomes rich nutrients for the next phase of life. So look at this crash in the Gemini as the new way of doing things, the new way, a new process, a new change, a shift in dynamic, a shift in understanding. I actually want to see if there's going to be anything in relation to Gemini this coming couple of weeks. I don't know if there is, but let's just take a look. Gemini, astrological events 2025. Okay, so it says here in 2025, Gemini can expect a year of transformation and growth, particularly with Uranus entering their sign. This shift from July 7th to November 7th may lead to significant changes in the identity and career aspiration. There are also indications of potential financial gains and the need for greater self-awareness throughout the year. So we do actually have some events that's coming into play here. The first couple of events we have in terms of Gemini is we have Uranus and Gemini enters Gemini on July 7th to November 7th. This major event potentially leads to radical changes in the search of independence. Remember how I told you about wanting to be independent, wanting you guys to be independent? Well, you can see it here. I did not make this up. Actually, let me brighten the screen so you can actually see it. Okay. I did not make this up. You can slowly see it's written here. Uranus enters Gemini July 7th to November 7th. This is the major event, potentially leading to radical changes in search of independence. And Jupiter in Gemini until June 9th, which means expansive Jupiter continued its 12-month journey through Gemini, energizing the self-sovereign first house. So first house means independence, who you are, your foundation. That is what it's telling me here. That is the information we're getting. On top of the deck here is we have what's had in the past for you, refreshing, mysterious fluid, water. Water is an element that's leaving you, your emotional state, no longer being bounded by the information of the universe, right? Not being bounded by the will of the power that may be. Instead, you are the power, you are the creator of your own world, so seek it out. And here what we have as well, we have in the first house was heading towards the past, but it's crossing the south node, which is the first house of Aries, which means self, body, present. We talked about the first house. You're going to get some changes in terms of the first house, and it's being crossed with the south node. So there's going to be some challenges of who you are as an individual, as a Gemini. But it's also talking about to 45 as well, and talking about all the countries. It's who they are at the very core. Who is 45? Who is 45? What does he represent? Right? And then we're also talking about the countries that are Gemini. This is not just prone to just one individual. This is prone to all Gemini. So that is the information, that is the energy that I'm getting. Is there anything else, Spirit? Okay, perfect. They said that we covered in today's video. I don't know exactly what this video is going to be called, but consider it a mix of a little bit of everything. But unless there will be some parts in this video where you resonated with it, or some parts you didn't, because it's not necessarily meant for you. It's just meant for us to be able to talk about what is going on globally. Anyway, guys, I love you. Have a great night, and I'll see you all soon. Until then, peace out. I love you.